The Hackras warship, Doom's Herald, drifted silently through the void. Its captain, Commander Zolak, staring at holodisplays as a small vessel blinked into their scanner range. A lone ship, unarmed and unarmored, bearing insignia that made Zolak's spine stiffen. "Commander, it's a Deathworlder hospital ship," growled Lieutenant Uthrek, the massive enforcer standing at Zolak's side. His clawed hand hovered over the console, prepared to issue the order for a boarding party. Zolak narrowed his slitted eyes, the display casting a ghostly light over his scarred features. Why would such a ship be this deep in contested space? His voice rasped, thick with suspicion. The human vessel was small, practically insignificant compared to the Doom's Herald. But the stories about Deathworlders, particularly humans, sent unease through even the fiercest of warriors. It was common knowledge that Earth, designated a Deathworld by the Galactic Council, produced some of the most resilient and unpredictable beings in the known universe. Their tenacity in combat was legendary, their endurance unmatched. But a hospital ship, surely that posed no threat. "We should strike while we can, Commander," Uthrek urged, his claws clicking against the metal as he anticipated the order. "Humans have taken far too much from us. This is an opportunity to weaken them." Zolak hesitated. There were ancient laws, decrees that even the most savage species in the galaxy adhered to. Hospital ships were off limits in times of war. They were sanctuaries for the wounded and dying, and attacking one was an unforgivable breach of honor. But Zolak had never cared much for honor, not when there was a war to be won. He leaned forward, his decision made. "Prepare the ion cannons, disable their engines. I want them helpless before us." The crew buzzed with excitement as the Doom's Herald slowly turned toward the human vessel. The hospital ship, sleek and silver with the emblem of the Terran Medical Corps emblazoned on its hull, drifted innocently through the stars. It had not changed course or made any aggressive move, oblivious to the warship closing in. "Target locked, Commander," a crew member reported, awaiting your command. Zolak nodded. "Fire." The ion cannons unleashed a cascade of blue energy, lancing across the vastness of space. They struck the hospital ship's engines, causing a flare of light as systems sputtered and died. The human vessel listed slightly, its propulsion crippled. "Boarding party ready, sir," Uthrek said eagerly. "Proceed," Zolak replied, though something gnawed at the back of his mind. The humans had not sent any distress signals, nor had they attempted to raise shields. They were silent, almost as if waiting. The Hackras boarding team, armed to the teeth, shot toward the disabled hospital ship in a shuttle, docking with a metallic thud. The airlock hissed as the Hackras warriors breached the human ship. "Report, Lieutenant," Zolak demanded, watching the holofeed. Uthrek's voice crackled over the comm. "We've breached their main corridor. No resistance. It's too quiet. I don't like this." Zolak's eyes narrowed. Something was wrong. The holofeed showed the Hackras team advancing cautiously through the ship's sterile halls. Medical equipment was neatly stowed along the walls, monitors quietly humming, but there were no signs of crew, no doctors, no nurses, no patients, just eerie, empty silence. "Where are they?" a threat growled, frustration seeping into his voice. As they moved deeper into the ship, the feet flickered, and, suddenly darkness, the comms went silent. "Lieutenant, report," Zolak barked, slamming his fist against the console. Static filled the air for a moment before Uthrek's voice returned, but it was strained. His breathing labored. "Commander, it's a trap." The words sent a chill down Zolak's spine. They're not here to heal. They're soldiers, disguised. They knew we come. Where?" A series of wet, choking sounds cut off the transmission, followed by a scream that echoed through the bridge of the Doom's Herald. Zolak stood frowning, watching the holofeed as it flickered back to life. The image it now displayed was not of his warriors. Instead, a single human stood in the corridor, clad in dark armor. His visor reflected the cold, sterile light of the ship. In his hand was a sleek, curved blade stained with alien blood. The human stared directly into the camera, as if looking into Zolak's very soul. "They should have told you," the human said, his voice calm and steady. Never engage a Deathworlder hospital ship. The feed cut off, and a low alarm began to sound across the Doom's Herald's bridge. Lights flickered as systems failed one by one. Commander, a crew member stammered, panic creeping into their voice. We're being boarded. They've already breached the hull. They're inside. Zolak turned slowly, his heart pounding in his chest. Through the viewport, he could see the hospital ship drifting peacefully in the void, as if nothing had happened. But now, he understood. It was no hospital ship. It was a war machine, a hunter in disguise, preying on those foolish enough to break the most sacred laws of war. The lights dimmed, and Zolak heard the unmistakable sound of footsteps approaching from the corridor outside the bridge. They were already here. In the aftermath of the Doom's Herald's destruction, no trace of the Hakrath warship was ever found. Only a single message was transmitted to nearby vessels, an encoded warning sent from an unknown source. It read simply, "Never engage a Deathworlder hospital ship. Humans may be healers, but they are also survivors, and when pushed, they fight back with a fury that no one, not even the fiercest warriors of the galaxy, can withstand." The wreckage of the Doom's Herald drifted silently through space, the shattered remnants of its once mighty hull, now little more than debris scattered across the stars. The Galactic Council had been alerted, of course, but no one dared come too close. Not after the message was received. The warning spread like wildfire, reaching the ears of warlords and diplomats alike. Never engage a Deathworlder hospital ship. But not everyone heeded the message. Captain Reichel of the Grell Dominion stood before his crew, his massive form towering over the control center of his warship. The bloods fell. His eyes glowed with a fiery determination as they fixed on the tactical display, which highlighted the wreckage of the Doom's Herald. "The Hakrath were fools," Reichel growled, his voice a deep rumble that sent a shiver through his officers. "A hospital ship. Bah! They were tricked, bested by prey they should have crushed. But we are not so easily deceived." Around him, the bridge officers remained silent. No one dared question their captain's decisions, not openly at least. The Grell Dominion had long been known for their pride, for their refusal to show weakness in the face of defeat. But this was different. The stories about the humans were growing darker by the day. "The wreckage is all that remains," one of the navigators said, their voice cautious. "We've detected no life signs, Captain. Just debris and faint radiation from the destroyed engines." Reichel grunted. "Then the humans have fled. Cowards. We'll sweep the area, search for survivors or hidden traps. If we find another one of their cursed ships, we'll destroy it properly this time." Deep in the void, not far from the drifting wreckage, the Mercy, the very same Deathworlder hospital ship that had lured and destroyed the Doom's Herald, lay cloaked and silent. Inside, its true crew watched the Grell Dominion warship on their own scanners, tracking its every move. Captain Helen Drake, leader of the Terra Medical Corps, stood with her arms folded, staring at the holographic display as the bloods fell edged closer. Her steel gray eyes flickered with a quiet intensity. Unlike most captains, Helen was no warrior. She had never been trained for combat, at least not in the conventional sense, but as a Deathworlder, she understood war on a more primal level than most. "We've been detected, Captain," a voice called out from the comm station. "Their scanners are sweeping the debris field." Helen nodded. "That was expected. They've come to investigate." The tactical officers, a stocky man with a scar running down his cheek, spoke up. "Do we engage? They're Grell Dominion, aggressive and brutal. If they catch us unprepared, they'll tear us apart." Helen tapped her chin thoughtfully. "We don't fight unless we have to. That's not our way. This ship is still a hospital. After all, our mission is to save lives, not take them." "But Captain," the officers hesitated. "If they board, if they discover what happened to the Doom's Herald." Helen's lips curled into a thin smile. "We'll do what we must." She turned to the holo display, watching as the Bloods Vow continued its methodical search. The Grell captain was predictable, a slave to his pride. They always thought they could outmatch the humans, that the Deathworlders were just one more savage race to conquer. And time and again, they learned it the hard way. "Activate the subspace decoy," Helen ordered. Let's see if we can give them something to chase. On board the Bloodsfell, Captain Ryko watched as a new blip appeared on the sensors, a faint energy signature, consistent with that of a cloaked ship on the move. His eyes narrowed. There, he barked, pointing at the display. They think they can't escape. Prepare the fleet to pursue. We'll flush them out of the stars. The Grell warships surged forward, engines roaring to life as they closed the distance between them and the phantom signal. Ryko's claws tapped rhythmically on the arm of his command chair, a predator's anticipation coursing through him. But as they neared the decoy signal, something fell off. The energy readings were too regular, too perfect. It wasn't a ship at all. It's a trap, shouted the tactical officers, panic flashing across his face. They've... Before he could finish, the holographic display flickered and filled with static. The ship's system sputtered, and lights across the bridge dimmed. A low, ominous hum began to reverberate through the hull. What's happening? Ryko demanded, rising to his feet. Report! The lights suddenly snapped back to full brightness, and a voicey, calm, human voice echoed through the ship's comms. Captain Ryko of the Bloodsfell, the voice said, eerily serene. I suggest you power down your weapons and disengage from this sector immediately. This is your only warning. Ryko snarled, his eyes flashing with fury. Who dares speak to me like this? Show yourself, coward. The voice remained steady. I am Captain Helen Drake of the Sovereign Mercy. This is a hospital ship. Your actions are a violation of the Galactic Council's laws of war. You've made a grave mistake. I'll show you a mistake. Human, Ryko roared. Prepare, to. The ship's systems cut out again, this time violently. Consoles exploded in showers of sparks, and the crew scrambled to keep the ship under control. Hull integrity alarms began to blare. Captain, one of the engineers stammered, fear creeping into their voice. They've overridden our systems. We're locked out. Hull breaches on multiple decks. We're losing control. Ryko's fury turned to panic as the realization hit him. The humans hadn't just disabled the ship, they had taken control. The comms crackled again. This is your last chance, Captain. Withdraw or face complete destruction. Ryko's claws dug into his chair, but even his pride couldn't withstand the cold, calculated precision with which his ship had been rendered helpless. Gritting his teeth, he slammed his fist into the control panel. Disengage, he growled, his voice bitter with defeat. Withdraw and plot a course for the nearest outpost. The Bloodsfell limped away, its engines sputtering as it retreated from the field. Back aboard the Sovereign Mercy, Captain Helen Drake watched the enemy ship disappear into the distance. Captain, they're retreating, the tactical officers reported. We've won.